A few days ago, I had a conversation on stream with my good friend and everybody's favorite sellout, SkillUp. We discussed Warframe, its developer, Digital Extremes, and the reaction to my latest Warframe video. I thought you might find it interesting, and let's be honest, I'm desperate for content. Enjoy. I'm getting a call from SkillUp.
Hello, what's going on? I'm putting you on speaker, hang on.
Yeah, also, you're on speaker with my stream right now. All right, are we about to play together and live the dream?
We're about to play together, but this is happening.
So many things to say about Warframe. First of all, wow. So for the past few days, I've literally just been thinking, I need another excuse to play Warframe. It feels like I'm having dessert before dinner if I play Warframe without doing Destiny stuff.
Oh, that's so good. What a great phrase. I would so steal that in a future video. That's definitely happening.
Oh, you've got it, dude. That's yours. For free.
I'm definitely stealing that. One of the interesting things that I found was that when I started doing Warframe, immediately that was the only thing that people wanted to see from me. And like I would put up other videos and do other things, and people would be like, no, f this, only want Warframe. But it really does make me very happy that you've given it a go, because it's a really terrific game. You know, like it's absolutely not for everyone, but I do feel like people that play Destiny, a lot of them are going to enjoy what Warframe's doing. Like it scratches a lot of the same itches, you know? So I always suspected that if you got into it, you would actually quite like it.
And I would say as well that what surprised me is how similar I think it is to Division in a lot of ways as well.
Okay.
Especially with the gunplay and like the min-maxing and the loot grind. I find a lot of those are potentially even more similar to Division than they are Destiny.
Yeah, because they're quite complex games. Like the Division is actually a very complex game to understand all its mechanics, and yeah, it's min-maxing, and Warframe is way more complex than even that. Whereas Destiny is very much about like the action and just sort of getting you in there, and you start playing and you understand it and you're like, cool, I just want to shoot things, you know?
My only gripe with Warframe so far is that I've never cared about a single one of the mission objectives that I've had to do ever. I find them to be very samey.
Oh, they are, absolutely, no question. The joy of Warframe is the feel of combat, the feel of like that power and the progression that comes. And later on, it comes from the Plains of Eidolon is a very different experience that you get a lot of enjoyment from, like taking down Eidolons and just grinding missions that open space. There's the endless missions that you'll do, which are quite grind heavy, and you'll sort of get in a group with like 4 people and just grind for 2 hours in one mission and just sort of talking and listening to music. And Warframe is very much like a podcast kind of game, as in like put a podcast on, play some Warframe, put on like some music you want to listen to, play some Warframe, watch some TV, play some Warframe. Depending on what you're doing in Destiny, it requires more attention.
Totally, because I can't even hear the game right now, but it doesn't matter, you know. But I think that's a strength as well of Warframe.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, it cuts both ways. And some people really like that fact, some people don't.
Warframe has 3 things going for it when it shouldn't have this many things going for it. It has, not only is the game incredible, but then the devs are also incredible. Yeah. And then what was the third thing?
I think it's free-to-play model as well is actually.
Sorry, that was it as well. The free-to-play game. Yeah, it's free and it's an amazing game, and the dev team is amazing and accessible.
Totally.
It's everything.
Because a lot of free-to-play game devs are pretty scummy. You know what I mean? Like they'll do some things that are pretty shitty, and they're not the best. But yeah, luckily these guys aren't like that, and they have a real sort of icky factor that they call it, which is kind of like we sort of think about, if we put this into our game, how is it going to be received by the community? Does that feel a bit icky? And if it does feel a bit icky, then they don't put it in, because they're like, we could absolutely make way more money from this game, but we trash that reputation, we trash that consumer centricity approach, and then after that the whole narrative changes, and are we going to keep making that same money? No.
Right, that's so interesting. I just think
that's such a, I don't know, I'll let people draw their own conclusions about that from a comparative perspective.
Well, let me ask you this, why are the Warframe devs so cool with just doing this like awesome ghetto interview in a car, when if you think about it, no other devs would do that?
How are you guys feeling right now? TennoCon finished up yesterday, you guys had a party last night. What's the reading? How are you guys feeling at this point?
Yeah, I know, dude. This is how they roll in the Warframe community, man. Like that community team is just, here's everything. Here's us all the time. Here's what I think about things. Like this complete, unfiltered transparency. And they're so rare. Like other games do it. Like for example, to the Division. You know, obviously the comparison point is Destiny. Like holy shit. It's a completely different approach to community management, where Destiny is so closed and so like community management by PR release. Warframe is just so real and organic, and you'll find very few people have bad things to say about Warframe's community team, because they really do a spectacular job.
I tried to think about trying to get an interview like that with, and I was like, that would never happen ever.
No, and it's just such a outdated model for community management. Like, you can't be Moses coming down the mountain with the tablets once every 3 months and expect that people are going to respond well to you as a community leader. You just can't do that, you know? You
Not
have
in
to be the
2018.
person exactly. You have to be the person that's in the trenches with them. You have to be the person that's exposed and vulnerable and real, because if you're not that, then like community's just going to think, F you, man, you're just a suit, you know?
If I could ask you specifically about, I don't know if you saw in the comments, so many hate comments about the fact that I dared compare Warframe to Destiny.
Yeah.
People seemed really triggered by that.
Yeah, no, don't worry about that. There's just people that are always going to get upset about that, but I just always found it so irrational to not recognize that there is some similarities between these games. There's massive overlap in the audience, and there's massive overlap in terms of what these games are trying to achieve. So, like, obviously, if you're hating on one or the other, then fine. But if you're just making well-informed perspectives based upon your experience with those two games, then I think that's fine, man. I really think you hit the right beats with all your commentary. I wouldn't worry about it at all.
What surprised me the most about that is that the title of the video was like a meme title. It was Warframe, but it's Destiny, but it's Warframe. You clicked on the video knowing I was going to at least mention Destiny in relation to Warframe, and yet still you got triggered.
Do you reckon they were Destiny fans that were triggered, or Warframe fans?
It was all Warframe.
Fans, right?
It was all Warframe.
What, the Warframe fans are upset?
100%.
Really?
What I think it was is that I think people thought that I was really stupid in that I kept making dumb jokes that Warframe was copying Destiny.
Oh, okay.
In a way that I thought was so obvious that I know that Warframe came out like 5 years beforehand. Comments were like, actually, Warframe came out about 5 years previous.
That's your impersonation of a comment section. I love it. It's fantastic. I can definitely understand how people wouldn't get the joke. It'd be like, but if Shy made those jokes, for example, no one would care because everyone understands that Shy is there to make jokes. And I think as the community gets to know you, they'll understand your sense of humor more, and they'll be like, yeah, it's fine. Maybe they just didn't get you and they don't understand you yet, so that's probably why.
You might have seen I tweeted this comment out on the Warframe vid. It was probably one of the most toxic comments I've ever seen. He said, "Don't you dare play this game again. We don't need another Muse elk."
All right.
Like,
oh my god, that is
what?
hilarious. That is hilarious.
Imagine actually saying to another person, "Don't you dare play this game again." And for real saying that though.
Watch out.
Out. I made a joke about her being Canadian in the video. I was like, you know, the way she says out, it's very Canadian. It's almost as if she's a Canadian voice actor. And I still got comments from people saying, well, actually, Joe, she is Canadian. I was like, of course she's Canadian. That's why I made that joke. You two players.
Oh my god, that's so
You're
good.
memeing yourselves. I know this video wasn't my usual style, more of a thoughtful discussion piece, so if you enjoyed it, a like would be appreciated. Please, I'm desperate. Shout out to SkillUp for providing 80% of this video's content. His channel is in the description. Also, thank you to the patrons who support me, despite me 1000% not deserving it at all. And just when you didn't think I could thank anyone else, TY to GamersGrid for sponsoring this video. GamersGrid, you know them, a free LFG app that helps you find other gamers that want to play what you play when you play it. Sign up, select your game, and then find some friends, baby. Download link for the app is in the description. That was the final ad for GamersGrid, so yay, ad-free videos from now on. That's it. I'm the Jazz. God bless. You're super cute. I'm out.